right. Well, welcome everybody to Breaching the Boardroom podcast. We have in the studio today a very special guest, Mr. John Just, Chief Learning Officer at Know4, doctorate in instructional technology from Nova Southeastern, former CIO from Pinellas County Schools, which is a remarkable experience, and former SVP at healthcare software company and Thrive. Mr. Just, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I always enjoy our conversations, and I'm looking forward to continuing that in this format.
Absolutely. So you are a busy person. You travel all over the world.
I do.
Heading up education for an organization like Know4. If there are some people that don't know what Know4 is, let's give them a high level. Do you mind? I can
Not
do
at
it, but
all.
I prefer.
Yeah, probably better for me.
Yeah.
So we are a security awareness training and email security company. We help people manage the ongoing problem of social engineering, educate them about the dangers. We have a simulated phishing platform that helps you practice the common attack of social engineering and several of those attacks these days. We actually also have recently launched inbound and outbound protection for email, so that you have all the layers of defense. And we also use AI agents as part of that. So the cyber criminals are using those. So we're using them to help expand our capacity and your capacity to defend against these attacks. So my charge is I lead a global team that helps create our phenomenal training content that is used by millions and millions of learners across the globe. We serve around 70,000 organizations, from household names to small organizations, from banks to non-for-profit organizations that are doing amazing mission-driven work. And we're very mission-driven here at Know4. We are driven. Our CEO, Brian Palma, is former Secret Service, worked in cybersecurity a long time, and he is very focused on the mission at hand, which is protecting as many people as possible. And so yeah, that's a bit about what we do.
Well, and I will say that you don't do it half baked. I mean,
No.
You have over 1,000 interactive modules, videos, games, posters, newsletters. You have Know4 available in 35 different languages, with KSAT. We can talk about what that is, but reducing organizations' phish-prone percentage from 30% down to 5%.
Yes.
In less than a year. The bottom line is this: like, you have the largest security awareness or risk awareness platform on the planet. It's remarkable. I've been involved. I've been using it as either an administrator or a user, or helping businesses with it for 10 plus years. And it just keeps getting better and better. It is really remarkable. And what's outstanding is it's very affordable. For a small organization, for a small business, you can really lower your risk by using this platform and have empirical evidence that your culture is getting more security minded. What I love about it is, in the beginning, when you roll it out, like, close to half of everybody is still falling for these things.
Yeah.
And then after 3 months or so, the data shows it goes down significantly. And then over time, it gets down to a much lower, a 2-3% of the organization. Now, it's still too high because it's 2 to 3%, but humans are humans, and you're really never going to get that down below that, right? But then I love you guys have the ability to focus on those super clickers, right?
Yes.
Because the super clickers, against common, like, urban myth, they're not bad employees. They're not dumb.
No.
They're not gullible. Sometimes, like at law firms, I've seen them be the managing partners.
Yeah.
Because they're busy, right? And they literally are just
distracted on their phone.
Exactly.
It's harder to see where that URL is going.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. And I would say a lot of our organizations, as you mentioned, we've had organizations that have been with us for 10 plus years. And if we continue to evolve, and we're committed to continuous improvement and striving for excellence. And as we've seen the industry grow, the number one way, and this has been verified by many different sources and case studies, that you actually find out about these attacks is through people reporting them. So
Right.
this whole concept of, okay, well, they're my weakest link. You need to change the culture to be like, you're all a part of this. And
Yeah.
that's what our training strives to do. So lowering click percentage, important. I don't want to disregard that. That is very important. But another thing is we offer a free tool called the Phish Alert button.
Right. And I was just about to get into that because that changes the dynamic of the culture completely, right?
You can protect your organization, your colleagues from an attack because you got the training, you identify these attacks, and then you were able to alert your IT team. So it sort of flips that dynamic on its head. You'll never get to zero on the clickers, but if you can get your reporting percentage to a high enough level. Several years ago, there was a landmark study, a case study done by, excuse me, the UK government, the GQ, their headquarters there, and they said that really they did a case study on an attack that was remediated, and the whole reason that they found out about the attack was because people used the Phish Alert button to alert the IT team. They were able to pull it out of people's inboxes and go find the people who had fallen for it and remediate them before any further damage occurred.
So absolutely, and that's so important. So on the one hand, first of all, what we're talking about is protection against social engineering.
Yes.
Of all of the data breaches out there, you can have all the technology in the world, you can have all the best firewalls, etc. All important. I'm not minimizing that, but it matters less when humans fall for trust issues, convincing issues, senses of urgency, right? And especially in light of AI, these things look better and sound better than ever before. And and so that is the largest vector that breaches occur is social engineering. So this platform and the organization is mission driven to reduce the risk for organizations. Just giving everybody a high level of the context for those that aren't in this field, right? Then you really have two main approaches, so several layers, but two main approaches. One is the monthly customized test phishing, where it goes out periodically and it's testing, and should you click on it, it would not be a data breach. It'll say, hey, this would have been a data breach. You've been assigned training. And then you have a library of this incredible training to really get people to learn from that. But in addition to that, what I love about it is you have that Phish Alert button. It sits in, for example, if you have Outlook, it sits right there. So 24/7 from the phone, from anywhere, while people are working and they see something that is suspicious, it turns every employee into a beacon, into something that is like, let me see, this looks odd, or I wasn't expecting this, or this is an odd sense of urgency. They alert and it gets triaged. We're able to set it up. I know at our organization, it goes right to our SOC. So our team will go in, remove it, block that, and then be able to investigate it right away, which is remarkable. I mean, we've had great success stories with a lot of organizations where that has led to breaches getting stopped before they actually could arrive and go further. It's really remarkable.
Yeah, my favorite story of all time is a law firm. You mentioned law firms, and there's many of these stories, and I love them. Again, coming back to being driven by the mission, when people share their stories, where there was a conversation ongoing for a settlement. The settlement was roughly around $1 million. And, you know, we always say assume breach, right? And so the perpetrator, the hacker, was actually in the system already, was in the email, monitoring the conversation, waiting for the best opportunity. And so they, you know, they started acting odd. They put urgency into the thing. And so the lawyer said, I just taken that training like 30 days ago. I'm going to pick up the phone because this is just, you know, there's a few red flags here that I remember from the training. So she picks up the phone to verify. Lo and behold, on the other hand of the line, the other attorney, he had been locked out and said, I haven't been able to get in my email all day.
Amazing. So,
someone had changed my password. I was on the phone with IT. I've been trying to get into my email, so obviously changed IT, enabled MFA, so they couldn't get into the account, even with the password change, locked the people out. So saved that organization from transferring $1 million to not the rightful person
client
who was
or
due
or
that,
person, yeah.
right, the settlement, but actually to a perpetrator. So that's one of many stories that we've heard, not just at an organization but personal, where they were alerted to a romance scam or something because of our training. And so that really energizes me, because we don't do this just to make a profit. We do it for the mission, and it saved a lot of people. And it happens way more frequently than people think. That's
Oh yeah.
the challenge, is that there's a stigma with getting breached, with getting tricked, getting scammed, whether it's at the organization or the personal level. And we all know people who have done it in our friends and family group that have shared that experience with us. But you have a tendency to go, well, that won't be me. And
Right.
that won't be our organization. And so, we
Right.
have to fight against that stigma.
Right. Cybercrime happens elsewhere, right?
Yeah,
But I
yeah,
think
yeah,
the
yeah.
more, and you come from an education background. And so I
Yes.
wanted to ask you, what about that background leads you to understand human behavior, right? And that sometimes the cybersecurity industry might even get wrong, or general business might get wrong. And I think some of the stigma about, oh, humans are the weakest link,
Oh, yeah.
or that this won't happen to us, or
Yeah.
if we buy a product then it's not going to happen. And it's the tactics, it seems to me, that they use for social engineering are the ones they've been using for thousands of years, right?
Yeah, yeah. So it's embedded in psychology. So when I talk
Right.
about, we need to use AI agents, I said that earlier. They're using psychological tricks and playing on psychology. So
Mhm.
we have to be able to do that as well.
Exactly.
And so there's great theory base that goes back a long time. So first of all, I'll talk about simulated phishing, because I
Hmm.
think sometimes it could be controversial, and it's been more and more accepted, but you still see pushback from people. Every once in a while, you'll see an article that says it doesn't work. And of course, you read the article and then read the research paper, and the research paper saying you can do it right and you could do it wrong, which is totally true. It's not that it doesn't work, it's a tool. So, simulated phishing, much like a hammer, you can drive a nail in or you can hit yourself in the thumb. And so we have to think of it like a tool. And so, in education, we're always trying to simulate the environment as
Right.
much as possible. And so when I first made the transition from building healthcare education, we're building these complex simulators to show people what this could be like, to go to cybersecurity, where we have this simulated phishing coming in. It's as close as you could get to the real thing, which is really powerful from an educational perspective. But I don't think oftentimes we see people look at it as an educational opportunity. They look at it as a gotcha exercise. And I think
Right.
framing it as practice, it's drilling, it's getting you used to, when I see something weird, I'm going to hit that fish alert button. And then I'm
Right.
going to get feedback back. And that feedback loop is important. I'm either going to get a congratulations, or I'm going to get something that is, hey, this is actually fine. And we've used PhishER in the background, and we looked at it. It
Hmm.
actually came from HR, and you're good to click it. That feedback loop in psychology research, really, really important to take advantage of, but to position correctly and communicate correctly that, hey, we do a fire drill every once in a while. We
Right.
do these practice things. This is essentially, that safety practice for cyber hygiene. And then when you fall for one of these, you pointed out, you can get education. When I first joined 8 years ago, the most common thing was like, okay, now you got to take a 30 or a 45-minute module.
Oh, I
And it's
remember
almost
that.
it's
That was
almost punitive.
painful. Yeah,
It's
that was
punitive.
almost punitive, but now it's not like that. It
No,
is
no,
it
no.
is
Now I might
totally
play a
changed.
game. I might play a
Right.
game. That's what our AI recommendations would be,
Yeah.
because
Almost
in
makes you
in a
want to click. No, I'm just
it,
kidding. I'm like,
yeah,
because
yeah.
I
So now
like
you play a
them. Like
game, and
the
yeah,
content you guys have developed it's fun. It's kind of cool.
yeah, and then we tell you the why. Why was
Right.
this happening? Why are you getting this simulation? And for adults, there's a theory called andragogy about adult
Mm-hmm.
education. And we like to know the why behind things. We don't just like
Mm-hmm.
to know, hey, we need to do it. And I think we have a bias as cybersecurity professionals and education professionals in cybersecurity. You should know the why. Don't assume people know the why. Don't assume your leaders know the why.
Right.
You have to be educating about the why as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I wanted to ask you about, you know, how because things have changed because of AI. And I know
Yes.
that, you guys have developed ADA, a suite of AI defense agents. It's
Yes.
brilliant. We can talk about that in just a second. But to me, I've spoken with Perry Carpenter at your organization, brilliant, great on deepfakes, and he
Yeah.
made a really interesting point, and I'm curious if you see it from the educational arm there too, and that is like when Perry's talking about deepfakes, he's saying we're asking the wrong questions. He says we it doesn't matter if we spend so much time, is it real, is it fake? Ask ourselves, what is it asking us to do?
Yeah. What's
And
the
if it's
intent?
and if it's asking us to do something against our interests, release information,
Hmm.
wire transfer something, whatever it is, then verify with the
Yes.
human. And from the overall education perspective, my question to you is, it seems like because of AI, the emails today, the
Oh, yeah.
texts today can be perfect.
Yeah.
They can be real, but if they're
Hmm.
asking, like there's virtually no way of determining some of the red flags in some cases, depending on
Yeah.
the attacker's use of AI. And so if that's the case, rather than fall for it whenever you're asked to do something,
Hmm.
right? Verify the human, not the email. Like
Yeah.
are you kind of seeing that as well?
We are. So a lot of customers, and another story I'll tell about a customer, wrote in and said, hey, again, because of the training, and because I we've been educating people that AI is making these threats, the level of the threats, the
Mhm.
sophistication of the threats, it's so much easier to make. So spear phishing, right, which is
Mhm.
a very targeted attack, used to happen to high level profile people because it wasn't scalable.
Right. Right.
Now you
It
can
was very rarely done
exactly.
because you had to research and find all the vulnerabilities,
Yes.
understand all of their vendors, really do that. Now it's minutes before you can
Yeah.
find that
Yeah,
information.
a polymorphic attack. So I
Right.
can change the attack slightly and make
Hmm.
it a little bit more customized, and that makes people um you know fall for it more frequently. And
Yeah.
if they're not educated and on guard. And so we had a customer that received a voice message in WhatsApp, and it was a voice cloned message. And she went and called and verified, and pointed out that, like, if I wasn't aware that these things were even out there,
Right.
the sense is I don't want to embarrass them. I don't want to pick up the phone.
Right.
It's
Exactly.
it's fine. And if we encourage that, and our security culture encourages verification.
That's the point. That is really the point. That's the best point. And that's what I love about your heading of the education, because when there's a culture, meaning
Mhm.
any small business, when you promote people for seeing something and saying something,
Yes.
when you reward that, at my last employer, and oftentimes here where we are, there's rewards. There's like bonus reward
Yep.
points and things. If you catch phishing like the most that month, you'll get like a gift card and things like that.
Nice.
Like, what a great idea, right?
Yeah,
Like,
gamifying it, as
yeah,
opposed to, again, that
gamifying it, making
punitive side where it's like you did
right.
something.
Well, it
Now it's
used to
now
be
it's
that way. Yeah, like
right. It
years
used to be
ago,
that
it
way.
was like 30-minute thing. I
Right.
don't want to do it. But what
No.
happened is then people, if they thought something was weird, they would not tell anybody because they didn't want to
Yeah.
get involved.
No.
Right. And now
So
it's
yeah,
like
it's
kind of cool. So,
yeah, it's setting up that culture. That I love that idea. I love that concept. How do we get more people involved? Personally, I work here, and when I catch a
right.
real phishing attack, and I get that back in my Slack message from our
Oh,
coaching
yeah.
tips that says you actually caught a real, I still go pump my fist.
Oh
I'm like,
yeah.
I'm educating people around here about
I'm
this.
bragging about it at the office. I'm
Exactly.
like, I
But
got 3 last month. How did you do it? You know what I
exactly.
mean? I'm
And
like,
that's the sort of thing that we need to, that's cultural. So
it's kind
there's
of
there's one
fun.
part of the
Yeah.
yeah, it's one part of the training, and there's, amazing shows we have like the Inside Man that makes people engaged
Yeah,
and interested.
tell the
But
viewers, tell the listener and viewers about that. You guys have produced some like Netflix quality, actually Hollywood quality movies. Like
yeah, yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know how that got started, but I've been amazed by it. I'm like, dang, that is good TV. Like, how did
Well,
like
yeah, you
tell?
come
I
back to
mean,
Perry. You
obviously you
mentioned Perry
had
Carpenter.
Kevin. Yeah, yeah, you
Yes,
had Perry.
we we had
You had
we had
Kevin
Kevin
Mitnick.
Mitnick here, who was doing our hacking demos, and
Hmm.
rest in peace. He's the spirit of Kevin Mitnick lives on with us because we have a number of people here at
Oh,
KnowBe4 who have
absolutely.
taken up that mantle and continue to do hacking demos. Those tend to be really popular, by the way, because it shows you why they're doing it, what can happen, gives you behind the scenes look. So some of our most popular, and then our Inside Man series is like a Netflix Hollywood high production. Again, behind the scenes. Let's see what hackers, let's see what cybersecurity is like. Gets people engaged. I'm really excited about our latest production by the same team called Chameleon, though. And
Yeah, I
Chameleon
heard
sort of
about
learns
this.
about all the things that we learned with, hey, people don't want to watch a big movie and an arc,
Hmm.
but they want that high production value. They want it to be snappy. They want
So
it to be,
it's in
it's
segments.
smaller.
Love
Yes,
it.
very smaller. And could be standalone or could be, but it brings
Yeah.
personality, it brings character. There's character development in it. Interestingly, the Inside Man has been super popular, watched by
Hmm.
millions and millions of people. We've won so many awards in cybersecurity and education in general, and even in media, competing with
Right.
the National Geographics and the Apple
Right.
Studios and the Netflix studios of the world. We've won awards for this. Um, Again, we've learned a lot from that. As you mentioned, we're constantly evolving it. Chameleon has that same uh, potential, right? It's already exceeding organically the usage that we had for the latest seasons of the Inside Man. So Inside Man
That's
continues to
phenomenal.
live on. We're actually doing demos with the Inside Man character, so they're coming in and actually doing hacking demos. We're teaching them, the
Oh,
actors, how
that's
to do these
horrible.
little hacks, and they're doing hacking demos like Kevin used to do. So super excited about the universe. Not to
How do
mention,
people access these so that I,
uh,
because
so yeah,
we
so
probably should mention that. Is that by being a subscriber to Know Before you have access
it
to the
is.
mod store? Is it part of the
Correct.
mod
The
store? The
mod
mod
store
store
is the module store from which you
mm,
can access all this amazing training content, and games. You mentioned games. There's games for
there's
season one and
everything.
season
It's
two
like
of the
it's as
Inside
good
Man.
as yeah, it's as good as Netflix, man. Like it is
It,
as good. Like there's so much stuff to do. It's like entertaining.
yeah, and we're always adding. So
Yeah.
it's about fresh content because the threat landscape is changing.
Hmm.
AI is advancing the threats. We need to tweak how we present them, what we're seeing in the threat landscape, and provide that. So we're releasing 30 to 50 new modules per month and retiring some of those
Wow,
older ones.
that's
So you're
great.
talking about an evergreen subscription. You don't buy a static set of something.
Right.
You actually buy an evergreen subscription like Netflix to this latest content. So yeah, KSAT you mentioned earlier, the Know Before Security Awareness Training platform allows you access to all of these through the module store, through the mod store. All of these terrific learning modules, whether they be videos or games or our assessments, which are super powerful. So we talked about security culture. You can take the security culture survey. I had a customer in Europe who used to pay an outside consulting firm 150,000 euros a year. He said, I canceled that because now I just give my security culture. I've gotten more data from this. I can benchmark against my
Right.
industry, against my local, again, for my size. I can actually see where is my security culture moving? Where are my weak points? Where do I need to address? In a 10-minute survey that I send out as a scientific instrument, as opposed to bringing someone in to do a bunch of interviews, interrupt workflows, and then come back with sort of nebulous things I maybe could do.
Yeah, more like a snapshot in time or something just
Exactly.
generic. This is actually interactive, evergreen,
Yes.
constantly evolving.
Yep, for sure.
Tell us about the Ada orchestration agent. So
Yes.
it's relatively new with you
It
guys.
it it is, yeah. Just
So
just came out of the tech preview and inside our Know Before community, people were able to opt into this, and so we did extensive testing with it. So what we've been asked for years and years is we'd like something that we can provide differentiated instruction to people.
mhm,
We'd like something for, okay, there are people who are doing, hey, my finance organization takes this, my sales organization takes this, my legal team takes this,
mhm,
and that, but let's get down even further to an individualized level. That, hey, I may, like we've talked about games. Some people on your podcast may go, and I don't really like to learn from games. Okay, well, I might get a game. That person might get more of a straightforward, video. So there's some learner preference that goes in there, and we use all the profiling behind the scenes. So we have these millions of learners and data points that can feed that. And so this orchestrates what I can get as far as learning interventions and allows that to be more powerful. So it's a game changer. It's been huge. It's something that's been in development for some time. It obviously takes a lot to get those algorithms trained and the LLM tuned to exactly what it needs to be in terms of providing you with those individualized instructional moments that are going to make the most sense for you. Maybe you're a more advanced learner, right? And you're
right.
bored with, hey, what are the basics of phishing? I want to know what happens behind the scenes. I maybe I'm a developer,
Mhm,
maybe I'm in IT. I want to know what SQL injection looks like. I want to know what some of these more advanced attacks are looking like from an AI perspective. And so it's able to differentiate. We say in education, right? It's able to provide
differentiated
something.
learning, right? Yeah,
Yes,
that's
exactly.
exactly right.
Provide something different to based on your needs, your profile, your history. That way, be much more powerful and targeted.
Yeah. I came from the K-12 space, came from
Okay, good. So
law,
you.
and I was in law, and then I was in the K-12 space. And I'm just
Okay,
telling you,
great.
if you could survive in the K-12 space, it is enterprise environment, nonprofit budgeting.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
right, and in no other industry does everybody leave all at once, and then
Yeah, yeah,
things
and then
get
come back
disconnected,
and
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 then all of a sudden everybody comes back at once.
yeah,
It's
yeah. I mean,
absolutely crazy.
I miss my K-12 days. I get to work with a lot of our K-12 organizations, but there's
Yeah.
things I don't miss. And like you said, minuscule budget. We had over 150 sites, over 120,000 students, 15,000 employees, largest employer
Just
in Pinellas
so
County,
crazy. Wow.
and to serve and on a
Right.
shoestring budget. But again, talk about people who are very mission driven and
Oh
focused
yeah.
on making a difference. So I get to work with a lot of our large and even smaller K-12 organizations, and I love that, and our university systems, because they do an outstanding job of doing rubbing two sticks together and making fire, like really taking that budget and making it go really far. And we're partnered with them all the way. You mentioned low cost solutions. We have specials for those folks because we understand the budget limitations and we want to be on their side. And we recently launched Student Edition uh, not too long ago. That is pennies on the dollar for
That's great.
students to license content. We're creating student specific content. I have a colleague, Ben Sin, who's a former middle school teacher turned instructor in college out in University of Colorado. And now he is heading up that effort for us and some outstanding content for them. And by the way, if they license that for pennies on the dollar, we also give them the email protection for inbound and outbound dimensions
Oh, that's great.
for free
Yeah,
included
that's
with it.
fantastic.
So, the other thing, 120,000 students, I have 120,000 points of entry.
Oh yeah.
A certain percentage of them are little hackers themselves trying to
Oh
get into
yeah.
stuff and cause
Oh
cause
yeah.
havoc.
They're not
So,
afraid of anything. They are just they
so,
are beating up the
so
keyboards, man. They
yeah,
are
exactly. And so, definitely a focus for us
right.
here at Know Before.
Amazing. So before I let you go, let's, AI has dramatically changed everything.
Yes.
I think in the beginning, everybody was kind of waiting to see what would happen, but it has definitely hit its stride now.
Hmm.
Um, Everything from data leaks that are happening to
Hmm.
AI scanning of vulnerabilities, finding those vulnerabilities, getting
Yes.
in, to really improving attackers' social engineering abilities, like through
Yes.
AI deepfakes. It used to take part of the reason why AI deepfakes were really parlor games in the beginning is it
Yeah.
was really only able to be done on Tom Cruise
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
President Obama or somebody like that in back in the day, because you needed hours and hours of these samples to generate that.
Yeah.
All of that has changed. Now, just with a few seconds, you can clone voices.
Yes.
A minute or two, you can clone video, and it's pretty good. It's getting better every single week. I mean, just in the last couple of months, it's gotten almost where it's undetectable by the human eye, which really leads to the issue of stop trying to figure out if it's real or not. Look at what it's asking you to do and then go verify, right?
Yeah.
Now, KnowBe4 has something exciting about this. You allow now through a subscription that
Hmm.
you are able to generate your own deep fake of your
Yep.
own CEO. Tell us
Yep.
about that. That is
Yeah.
cool.
And
And
yes,
Hank, my CEO, better watch out, because I wanna
we're
I
coming for you,
wanna
Hank.
get in there. I'm gonna talk to our team when I get in there and play with that.
Yeah, yeah, it's a great educational tool. So by the way, there are other tools that you could download tools to like create a deep fake. But
Oh
what
yeah,
I love what
everywhere.
I love
Right.
about our tool is it gives you scripts to choose from.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all educational scripts that are
Right.
been vetted by our folks. And so you upload a little bit of video, you let that cook for a little bit, and then
Mm-hmm.
what it spits out is an actual deep fake that is, hey, I'm going to ask you to do something, and then in the same message, I'm going to say, this is a deep fake. Here's the
Right.
things you should have been looking for. Here's the
Oh,
points
so
that
you guys are telling them right at the end. So
exactly.
you're not letting them go and wire transfer things and go
Yeah, 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 yeah,
running to
yeah.
the store for gift cards or doing anything like that. You're
No,
actually
no,
letting them know.
we'll ask them to do some things, and we'll lead them down that road a little bit in the same message, but then turn
But
it
then
very
you'll
quickly
turn
to
it
the
on.
educational message.
Good.
That's
That's great.
that, and so I feel like that's powerful because there's other things out there, but again, if you talk about what KnowBe4 brings, we bring this trusted. We've been doing this. We do this for some of the biggest and smallest organizations on the planet. We've learned a few things about how to educate people. And
Well,
so
right.
we
And
bring
how not to make it,
how not to shoot yourself in the foot and send it
right.
out
Exactly.
and then end up having problems,
Well, I've
or
seen
that
that
sort of thing.
with test phishing. I I
Yes.
I know people from like the legal community who their quarterly bonuses were coming, and the test fish said like from the managing partner,
Yes.
your quarterly bonus is here, and they're like,
Yes.
ha ha, this is a test fish, and you're like, okay, that's not cool. Like
No,
that's
no,
not a
no.
way of in building the culture. That's just going to
It,
tick off employees,
exactly.
right?
Coming
Like,
right back to the whole thing at the
yeah,
beginning that we talked about, which is it's all about culture and working your way. It's not about getting gotchas. It's not about having
no.
fun ourselves. It's making it fun for the users, making it interesting
It's
and
about
engaging on a
reducing
cultural
risk.
level.
It's yeah, and
Exactly.
it's really about
Ultimately
just
reducing risk.
ultimately reducing risk. And people, if they like what they're doing and they're enjoying it, they're going to get better at it, right?
Yes,
I mean,
it's
that's
true.
the bottom line.
It's true.
So
Yeah, and
that's
if they're
absolutely,
invested and they feel like
yeah,
they're part of the team and we're working for them and they're working with us, then for sure.
that's absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, and you guys really did the deep fake approach correctly. Like you get
Well,
the
thank you.
authorization to do it, and
Yes.
it's really phenomenal.
Yeah, we're
Um,
very proud and a lot of really great feedback about it thus far,
yeah,
from people saying, number one, it's easy. So again, I
right.
could go out and do this, and people have been paying, or larger organizations have been paying very, specific people to do it, lots of money to create a specific deepfake for them. Now it comes with the Ada platform. You're able to go in there, upload something, really quickly turn it around. You don't have to give it a lot of thought. Just pick which scenario works best within your organization, and you're off to the races.
That is fantastic. Mr. Jess, what do you have on the horizon? What do you have coming up?
Well,
I know
we
it took
have
us a
cable.
while because you were all over the world. I'm like,
I
when will
was
he be in the
all
States? Can I just get him for an hour? So,
Yeah, so we will
what do
be
you
in the
have coming
States
up?
for a little while because we have K4Con
Right,
coming up
which
in
is an
May.
exciting event
It's a
and
great
exciting.
opportunity. And by the way, season 7 world premiere will be at K4Con this
Yes,
year. So
I'm
I'm super
aware.
excited about that. We all get together, red carpet event,
I
meet
was
some
just
of
gonna
the
say it's like a
actors.
big red carpet event. It's
Yeah,
really exciting. If you guys are in is it Clearwater or
Orlando. We'll be in
Orlando?
Orlando at
You're
the
in
Orlando
Orlando.
Marriott. Yep,
Okay.
yep. And
if you're there, check out the KBCon
pay before con,
event.
yeah,
It is
yeah, for sure.
phenomenal. It is really, really cool.
And then we'll be doing other premieres around the world. London is in June. So I'll be back on the road again, and with our
That's a good
team.
time to be in London, actually.
It is a great time,
Yeah.
and not to be in Florida.
Right.
So
yeah, that's exactly right. You
escaping
planned
the
that trip
Florida
correctly.
heat. Yeah, and then we'll be recording New Year demos for next year with Perry and Roger Grimes and some of our other amazing experts, as well as cast of The Inside Man. And then we'll be releasing a new season of Chameleon later this year as well, which I'm also super excited about. So amazing things on the horizon.
That's so fantastic. That's great. Well, hey, thank you so much. I hope the listeners and viewers really got to understand just understanding what it takes to build a security-minded culture, because it's so important to reducing risk. I don't believe humans are the weakest link, but they are the most targeted, and they're targeted in ways that tap into our human nature. I mean, we're still, we still react the way we reacted millions of years ago to there's a woolly mammoth in our village and we have to run, right? Like it's that trigger that causes a lot of this, despite all the advances in technology. And so being able to really address that and having a mission like that, KnowBe4 is fantastic. So,
well, thank you. And thanks for having me. It was really a pleasure, and look forward to, future conversations for sure.
Absolutely, my friend. Thank you so much. And we'll have links to KnowBe4. We'll have links to your LinkedIn. You put out a lot of great content. So does Perry Carpenter. So does Roger Grimes.
Yes.
Just following these people, you get some of the greatest takes on something. When you see something in the news, you hear your response, Perry's response, Roger's response. It's entertaining and it's always insightful. Like constantly learning from you guys.
Really appreciate that.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, take care.